Well, I am sure you've been doing this for a while, but unfortunately for you, you've done it to our CEO, you even got him locked up because he is a black, you've done the worst. The sun was beginning to set over the bustling city, casting a warm, golden glow across the skyline. In the heart of this city stood one of the most renowned families in the district. Samuel Okafor, a young black man, had grown up under the shadow of his illustrious parents. His father, Justice Okafor, was the Chief Justice of the district, a figure of power, integrity, and respect. His mother, Dr. Amara Okafor, was the Minister of Health, a woman revered not just for her intellect, but for her unwavering commitment to improving lives. Samuel, however, had never been interested in following in their footsteps. He wasn't drawn to law or medicine. His heart beat for something different, something that resonated with the future, something that transcended tradition. From a young age, Samuel had been fascinated by technology, particularly cryptocurrencies. While many of his peers were busy pursuing conventional careers, Samuel was quietly building his fortune in the volatile world of crypto trading. By the time he was 26, Samuel had amassed a small fortune, enough to make a significant mark in any industry he chose. He had always believed that wealth was a tool, not an end goal, and he dreamed of using his money to create something tangible, something that could impact his community. After careful thought, he decided to dive into the retail industry, a sector that was always evolving, always growing. But Samuel didn't want to just open any ordinary business. He wanted to build something that would rival the best. With the help of a seasoned business specialist, Samuel established a chain of supermarkets. It wasn't just any supermarket, it was sleek, modern, and catered to a wide range of customers, offering everything from organic produce to high-end electronics. Samuel wasn't directly involved in the day-to-day management of the business. His specialist handled all of that, but he took a hands-off approach, allowing the supermarket to grow organically while he focused on other ventures. As the months passed, his chain of supermarkets became a household name. It wasn't long before one of his stores became one of the biggest in the region, a symbol of his success, his vision, and his ambition. But despite his vast wealth and influence, Samuel remained grounded. He didn't like to flaunt his success or attract attention to himself. His public image was more about the work he did and the people he helped, rather than the wealth he had accumulated. One ordinary afternoon, Samuel strolled inside one of his supermarket Tunby-something. He had been busy with crypto investments and new business ventures, but he hadn't had the chance to check in on his stores for a while. It wasn't that he didn't trust the management, he just preferred to keep a low profile. After all, he didn't need people to know who he was, so he just wants to buy groceries and shop for personal items. As he walked into the store, the air-conditioned chill of the supermarket felt refreshing. The bright, clean aisles were filled with well-stocked shelves. It was everything Samuel had envisioned, a place where customers could shop comfortably, no matter their background or status. Yet, today, something felt different. The first employee he encountered was a young white woman at the customer service desk. Her eyes scanned Samuel quickly, lingering for just a second longer than they should have. Samuel ignored the slight hesitation, thinking little of it, but as he walked further into the store, he began to notice the whispers, the snickering, the sideways glances from the other staff members. At first, Samuel tried to dismiss it. He told himself that maybe he was overthinking it. But as he picked out a few items from the aisles, it became impossible to ignore. The white employees were clearly talking about him. Their hushed voices carried through the store, and when their eyes met his, there was a subtle, almost imperceptible disdain. It was as if his presence, as a black man, didn't belong in a store that he had built. He tried to shake it off. Maybe he was just being paranoid. After all, he had worked hard for his success, and he deserved to be there just as much as anyone else. But deep down, Samuel knew that something wasn't right. He had seen this kind of behavior before, prejudice masked as indifference, discrimination disguised as mere suspicion. He also noticed that all the employees he has been seeing here are whites. It was like it wasn't built to accommodate black people. When he finished picking his items, he walked towards the counter. The same young woman from earlier was there, and Samuel could see the judgment in her eyes. As she rang up his items, her fingers hesitated over the keypad, and when she handed him the total, there was a slight pause, just long enough to make Samuel feel uncomfortable. She had intentionally refused to add one of the items he picked just to implicate and ridicule him. She bagged his items and handed them to him without a word, and Samuel, eager to leave and escape the tense atmosphere, paid and took the receipt. He didn't think much of it at first. He was used to feeling out of place in certain circles, especially in a society that often underestimated people like him. But as he reached the exit of the store, a security guard stopped him. "Excuse me, sir," the guard said, his tone less than friendly. "We need to check your receipt." Samuel stood frozen. He wasn't sure what was happening, but he complied, holding out his receipt. The guard scanned it quickly, his eyes narrowing as he looked between the receipt and the items in Samuel's bag. There was a long silence. Then, the guard muttered something under his breath and gestured for Samuel to follow him. Before Samuel could even react, 2 more security guards appeared, and they began to search his bag. He could feel the weight of their suspicion, heavy and oppressive. They found an irregularity, an item that wasn't on the receipt but had somehow made its way into Samuel's bag. Samuel's heart raced. He tried to explain, but the words caught in his throat. The whole situation felt surreal, as if he were trapped in some twisted version of reality where his very presence was enough to accuse him of a crime. The security guards didn't give him a chance to defend himself. They simply escorted him to the back of the store, their grip on his arms tightening with every step. Before he knew it, Samuel was sitting in a cold, sterile room at the police station. The officers didn't ask questions, didn't listen to his side of the story. They simply left him there to stew in confusion and frustration. Hours passed, and just as he was beginning to lose hope, he was allowed a phone call. He dialed his parents first. His father's voice came through the line, calm but concerned. Samuel quickly explained what had happened, and his mother's voice joined the conversation, filled with worry and anger. They decided to start coming to their son's aid. He also called the general supervisor of his supermarkets, and he started working while he rushed down to the place. The supervisor, who was a seasoned professional who had been with Samuel from the start, immediately took action. He called the police, and within minutes, a team was to be dispatched to the store. His parents arrived the same time with the supervisor, which made the police feel inferior since they are very influential. They all went to the store. The manager and the employees were shocked on seeing that their general supervisor came with them. Then they launched the investigation. The CCTV footage was reviewed, and it became clear. The female employees had intentionally left off 1 or 2 items from Samuel's bill to create a false accusation. In the process of checking the footage, they also see how a black young man who came to apply for job was violent refused. They saw the manager saying to the guy that they don't employ blacks here, and that explained Samuel's curiosity on how it was only whites that he saw working there. They all gasped after watching the CCTV. The supervisor, who was a white man too but a just man who hates racism and discrimination, was very angry and disappointed. He was already planning in his head how to make all of them in that branch jobless. Since the truth has come to light, the tension of police officers shifted. The officers, who had been so eager to accuse him, suddenly became defensive. The attendant who had set him up was fired on the spot. The manager too was tired. The supervisor even insisted that should be arrested too, but Samuel wants peace. The security guards faced disciplinary action. Other employees was mandated to attend a sensitization class. As Samuel left the supermarket that day, he ruminated about what has happened and decides to use his business as a way of sensitizing the people. If you enjoyed this story, like, share and subscribe for more of this.